Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to another Massachusetts Central Radio Show. I'm your home host, Mike Kamal, here for another one of these. Well, not for another one of these. I haven't recorded in probably like 4 or 5 days. Sorry for the lack of these, because I just don't know. I've been getting home and eating dinner and then going to my room, playing whatever, stuff like that. Um, and I've not been able to record any of these because I don't have the energy. Tonight I do. So this is 203 people. And I'm going to be recording 204 tomorrow and 205 on Monday, and then 206 on, well, I'm not going to record 206 on Tuesday. I'm going to record 207 on Wednesday. So hopefully you guys enjoyed you guys are enjoying your weekend at the moment. A lot to talk about over the last couple of days um, and stuff like that. So I'm just going to recap my week. I'm basically just going to recap my week just because I just do that because I always do that. So this week started off very good. I mean, typical Sunday, relaxed and stuff like that. Monday, I went to the movies to go see Wrath of Man with my friend Megan McCaffrey. Very good movie. If you guys are looking for a really well written movie and a plot that really really is good and isn't full of explosions, special effects, and you're not watching and you don't want to watch a $3 billion movie, $300 million budget movie, and you just want to watch one that has a lot of action but makes you think, and has a decent storyline, please do watch it. It's a little convoluted at points, and you think it's the way it's written. It almost puts you on the edge of your seat, like you don't know what's going to happen, or you don't realize what's going on until you watched it. Um, till you watch it to the end. So so beginning of the movie you think one thing, middle of the movie you think another, and then um, at the end of the movie, like, oh, so that's what that was at the beginning of the film. So it's one of those. Tuesday I worked, Wednesday I worked, um, and Thursday I worked. And I told him about. I did record a vlog on Tuesday. Um, yeah, I did record a vlog on Tuesday because, I did upload a vlog on Tuesday because I didn't have anything to talk about, and I just wanted to talk about stuff. And so yeah, but here I am, and then of course Friday I worked, and then Saturday a pretty easy day. Um, so yeah, it's all coming good and everything like that. I got to also on Monday I got to celebrate Megan McCaffrey's birthday a little early because I'm not going to be around to do anything on the 23rd. Her birthday's the 23rd, so I'm gonna have to obviously wish her a happy birthday. I wished her a happy birthday then, and I'm not sure. And we got to celebrate her birthday a little early. Got her a gift card to Family Dollar, which is a favorite store of hers to go to buy things on the cheap, very good place. There's one in Holbrook that I wouldn't mind. Um, that I wouldn't mind taking an Uber ride to once in a while if I feel like it, just to get some stuff. Also, um, also, um, that sort of thing. Um, oh yeah, by the way, I got to go to Family Dollar, which is a nice little. It's a nice little convenience store. $1 stuff. It's actually better than most convenience stores. You can get a lot of good stuff for like $1. Hence the name Family Dollar, Dollar Tree. Because get it, money grows on trees. It's pretty bad. But hey, but yeah, work was good this week, and stuff went well, and all that other stuff. So I'm actually going to do an automotive talk 'cause it's Saturday. So I thought I'd do that. Usually I do these on my um, computer, but I'm going to tell you, but I'm going to probably do it on my phone because you guys are a lovely audience. You guys always have been and always will be. I'm sorry if I'm getting blocked by a can of. So you guys are. If this falls, I'm gonna have to obviously readjust it. But yeah, guys, hello everybody and welcome. I thought today I would talk about. I get all this stuff up for the last 15 minutes. So the last 15 would be 20 minutes. Watch this be like 24-minute episode. I'm also going to. I just want to tell you guys one thing. I'm the Chrono Trigger playthrough. I've actually played a little bit beyond that, so I'm going to. So what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to play through the game, and I do think I'm going to play it. I'm going to do something else. I can't really. I've looked at it and I kind of said to myself, I kind of want to enjoy the game, and then I want to put all the facts to you because I've been watching playthroughs of other people, and I'd rather play you guys through a game that I know very well, and I've actually completed, and I actually know, um, and I know well enough to do that. So Chrono Trigger is done. So I don't know what I'm gonna do. There's many other games that I can probably do. I'm gonna do some live gameplay tonight. I don't know. I'm probably gonna do that around 10 while this uploads. I might do Far Cry 5 arcade or something like that. I might do an arcade mission and try to do a couple of random things. I don't know. I'm not, or I might do the Crew 2 and might do some racing around. I don't know. I have a bunch of games that I can use stuff that I don't have to do objectives for, or I have to do anything completionist. Um, Pokemon White. I'm just gonna say this. I don't know if I'm gonna return to that. I might or might not. Um, I do have my Samsung phone, but I don't know if I can use data. I might have to use Wi-Fi when I do that. So if I upload that from Wi-Fi, I might have to do that from Wi-Fi because um, Verizon will crucify me if I use it, and um, it having a crack screen and everything. Yeah, you guys heard me correctly. It's a big crack screen. The Gorilla Glass isn't really good. The glass on this is actually way better. But um, so actually, getting into Modern Motor Talks. Don't worry, I'm gonna do gameplay tonight. I'm gonna upload that um, and stuff like that. Um, so yeah, I talked about the V8 one time. I talked about the different brands and stuff like that. So what I'm going to talk about today, and I figured it out. Um, I'm going to talk about. Well, actually, I just watched Cadillac win another race today at the Detroit Grand Prix, and it reminded me of. Um, as you know, Cadillac is a subsidiary of the GM brand, and it's like the luxury brand. It's Cadillac. Well, everybody in the known world knows Cadillac. If you guys look at Elvis Presley, or um, you guys look at Elvis Presley, he owned a bunch of Cadillacs um, and stuff like that. He was known for owning a lot of them, and Cadillacs were a big thing for people who had a lot of money and stuff like that. So I'm going to talk to you guys about General Motors luxury brands and and stuff like that, personal luxury brands. So when General Motors was first started, um, General Motors had when General Motors was first started, there was a bunch of them, and um, so there was Cadillac, Buick. Yes, Buick was a luxury brand. There's Oldsmobile. Oldsmobile was an upscale version of that, and um, so there was Cadillac. Oh yeah, so it was Cadillac, Buick, Oldsmobile. Oldsmobile and Cadillac um, were the big luxury brands for the General Motors contingent, and a lot of people, and if you say Cadillac, Buick, or Oldsmobile, a lot of people are going to sit there and go, well, why is Oldsmobile a luxury brand? It sucked. It sucked at the end of its life, and it was horrible. These little four-door sedans that couldn't get out of their way, blah, blah, blah.
believe it or not, one time Oldsmobile was actually a pretty decent, sporty, and luxurious brand, and Cadillac, while it's very futuristic, was also very big back in the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s on. Buick, if you guys look at Buicks now, everybody's like, oh, Buicks look horrible, they're too rounded, they don't have any cars anymore. Um, so all three, well, Cadillac's the oldest. Buick, I think, is somewhere down the road. And Oldsmobile, well, Oldsmobile is actually older than all three. Actually, Oldsmobile came out in the turn almost before the turn of the century, um, with the runabout, with the Ransom E. Olds runabout, and Cadillac was next. And I think Buick came a little bit after. I think like in 19 they were all in the 1900s somewhere. I think it was 1905 or 1900, somewhere around there. But Buick, Cadillac, and Oldsmobile were some big brands. And Cadillac, out of all of them, has actually kept up the luxury image throughout the years. Um, and Cadillac was known for a couple of things. Cadillac was known for the big luxury Grand Tourer. Now, what I mean Tourer, Grand Tourer, I don't mean GT car. I mean a big touring car. I mean wide open body, roof line, and everything. These cars were built to run and run and run and just chug down the miles. And Cadillac had the V8 at first. Had the V8. It also had the 12-cylinder. It also invented the 16-cylinder. So for those Bugatti fans who sit there like, oh, we have the Bugatti, the Bugatti's the big V16, it's got 1,400 horsepower, and it can go 230 miles an hour, and it's the best thing ever. There's actually a few different brands that actually had the V16. I think Pierce Arrow had a V16. I think Marmon, who's another brand, had a V16. But Cadillac was the first one to actually come up with it, to actually use a production V16. Very expensive though, very powerful car, but very expensive though. Not super cheap either, and stuff like that. So Cadillac, so Oldsmobile started out as runabout early cars, and then eventually, they did passenger cars and they did wagons and all that other stuff. Um, and they really, I think towards the 40s, 50s, and 60s, they became this very sporty, very heavy set cars like the Delta 88, the Rocket 88, and big, big, big beefy cars, big cubic gauge engines, big horsepower, and they were very well known throughout the world as just as that one brand that provided some really cool looking cars, and the technology on them was actually pretty decent, and they came up with the F85, which had the Buick 215. Also had the turbo. Actually, I had the first turbocharged. It was actually maybe one of the first muscle cars and only muscle cars from that era to actually be turbocharged. They got like 200 horsepower. And and of course there was the Toronado in the 70s. The Toronado, for those of you front-wheel drive, 429 cubic inch engine. Delano has one. It's got about 1,000 horsepower. That one. The doors unassisted could if you weren't careful, unassisted the doors could have broken your leg. Like most GM cars that didn't have power doors back then. I remember my Aunt Kathy had a Caprice that had a Monte Carlo that had unassisted doors. I remember getting my leg caught one time. Thank you, Aunt Kathy, for not telling me that, but I learned a harsh lesson I paid. But with my grandfather owned an Olds 98 before he died in 2015. Um, I believe they owned a few Oldsmobiles actually. I think my grandfather owned a old '98, and then yeah, he owned an old '98, and then I think the old Impala-based one, and then eventually he owned the one that was again the Buick LeSabre, the Impala SS, and the '98. They all shared the same body style back then, like all GM's brands did. Um, Not so much Cadillac. Cadillac was kind of their own thing. But Cadillac, of course, was an interesting brand. They had the V16 cars, which that's low torque, and they were actually the first ones to actually. They were actually the first ones to actually be, to have the turnkey shifter, and um, it was complicated to drive like most cars back then. But it was the first car that had a modern setup on it with a key with a key you could turn, stick shift, 12-cylinder, 16-cylinder, V8, whichever one. Um, Cadillac is still around today. The one thing I like about Cadillac is they all have their own certain style. They're not like Buick or they're not like Buick or Oldsmobile. Well, Oldsmobile's gone. So Oldsmobile died at the end of 2003. Um, and they had some cool cars, but none of it to save them. They just didn't throw money at them, and they were just leftovers of certain platforms, and they were just rebadged. Some cars were rebadged Blazer. I think the Bravado was a rebadged Blazer, and then there was the minivan that was I think a Chevy Astrovan or something like that. I can't remember. There was no convertibles. There was the Alero, which sucked, and then there was the Aurora, which had the V6 that would do just about everything, and then there was the Northstar V8, which was horrible. Um, they also, I believe, the Oldsmobile Aurora V8 um, helped form the basis for a bunch of V8s in IMSA competition. When the American Le Mans Series was younger, 600 horsepower, 4-liter V8, and I think it inspired the Cadillac twin turbo V8 that would be in the LMPs back then, not the current TPIs that was 5.5 liter V8. Yeah, Oldsmobile, cool racing brand. Cadillac didn't race very much. Buick did, but didn't have very much success. They didn't have any success till like the mid to late '80s, early '80s. Next to Darrell Waltrip, pretty much, stuff like that. But the one that's really with Cadillac had a bunch. Actually, speaking of luxury brands, Cadillac had some pretty cool innovations. Um, Cadillac had lights that had a thing on the dash that could sense when the lights were when the traffic lights were on. And no, I'm thinking of another car. It detected when when the light was low outside, and it turned the head beams on, the headlights on. It also had, they also, it was also the rise of the fins back then, and they had some insane engines back then. I mean, the biggest one they made back then, in the mid '70s, was 5 liters. Um, a lot of people will, well, if people let's live, let die, people will know that there's a Cadillac that's not really a Cadillac. So there was a custom shop that did Cadillacs back then. I forget the name of it. a lot of those Cadillacs were redone. None of those were stock, by the way. So the Cadillac, um, Broom sedan, the Cadillac Broom DeVille sedan, that big tanky thing, that was custom. And the Cadillac Eldorado, the two-door Eldorado, that wasn't really an Eldorado at all because I believe Eldorados did not come like that. If you look at the doors in there, just a quick fact, they did have Cadillacs and James Bond in movies, not a heck of a lot. So if you look at the doors on the Eldorado, you'll notice that the door handles are at the top. Cadillacs always had door handles at the side. The only cars that had buttons that you could push and open up the car was a Corvette. So basically, what they did, was they took the body of they took some of the body shell, they took the body shell of the Corvette, chopped it up, put the doors on there, put the big body work on there, and put that big enormous 4,000, 5,000 pound body on there. And it's the coolest thing because Cadillacs, because it looked like a Cadillac, of course, and stuff like that. So yeah, I like that. Buick, on the other hand, I haven't talked about Buick yet. I've talked about Oldsmobile, but I haven't talked about Buick yet. Buick, well, I have personal experience with Buick because I've actually been in the back seat of one for a good portion of my early life. My family owned two. Well, actually, my family's owned three. My dad's dad owned a 225 Buick Electra convertible, big land yacht. The Deuce and a Quarter, as they used to call it. Deuce and a Quarter because the 225s were big. They were over 4,000 pounds. They were land yachts. They had 400 cubic inch engines, over 350 horsepower, and they were just really cool cars and stuff like that. I've also, my family is also in two LeSabres, a gray one and a red one. The gray one we sold off to my uncle so he could use it for parts, and the red one went to my brother Chuck and my brother Miles, except it was scrapped and it's currently in a heap in my brother's yard. Unfortunately, I wanted to restore it to its former glory, and the engine's all seized up and there's no trunk anymore. It's a really cool car. It was really nice for its time. 3.8 liter V6, transversely mounted 2-port injection, Series 1, Series 2 V6, not supercharged. Most Buick LeSabres did not come supercharged. They were normally aspirated. I wish they were supercharged because that would be cool. They made a few cool cars back then. When I was a kid, they made the Buick Rita, Skylark for a little bit. But the biggest ones were the Century, the LeSabre, the Park Avenue. Park Avenue was always the big boy of the brand ramp. There was also the Regal. Everyone, Regal's been around forever. I think Regal's been around since the 70s. So I've had the pleasure of riding in the back of a couple of Buicks. I believe we went to a prom in a Buick, I think. So I think it was the red one we had. So Buick's history. Buick had very, very racy beginnings. Louis Chevrolet, who was the charismatic owner of the General Motors brands, and he was one of them. One of the unique cars from the 1900s was the Buick Bug, and this had like a 7-liter 4-cylinder engine. This is back when 4-cylinder engines could be that big, and it made I think 50 horsepower or something like that. I can't remember, but it was a small little tyke of a thing. Buick Bug. Buick Bug. Here we go. 622 cubic inch engine and could reach track speeds at 110 miles an hour. That was pretty. That was moving back then. One was for Louis Chevrolet, and one was for Berman. Louis Chevrolet, for those of you who do not know, I was close, 57 horsepower. Is that ridiculously close or what? Yeah, 4-cylinder engine, 622 cubic inch engines. For those of you who want that in cubic feet, cubic inches, 622. To liters, that is over 10.19 liters. 10.9 liters in liters, and that was even bigger than a Viper back then. So yeah, you can bet that Louis Chevrolet got into some trouble because he always did a lot of racing in these cars. It's a pure. That's a about the Bug. So yeah. Yeah, I don't know if you're looking at tires, folks, but you did 110 with those little bike tires. Yeah, it was pretty heroism back then. You know, Buick, General Motors, and Louis Chevrolet and Bob Berman were pretty crazy guys. Even though the public authorities did not like Buicks or Chevrolets racing on the streets back then, which Louis Chevrolet was prone to do to test his creations. But he was a crazy guy, but he was also a very to test them with those little tires. But he was also innovating and trying to push his car products. And Chevrolet, you know, is a restored brand, but it's not a luxury brand, unfortunately, because it's kind of an assorted thing. They go from, you know, they go mid to middle, they go low end luxury to sports cars, because they quote up that's another story for another day. But so yeah, Buick started out with that, and they started out with the Nailhead V8, the straight 8, and from the straight 8 engines, they did a lot of IndyCar stuff with that. Well, not IndyCar, USAC engine stuff, and in the 1940s, they were known for luxury cars, and you know, cars that had a decent ride. 50s, same thing. They were supposed to be a step down from Cadillac. If you couldn't afford a Cadillac or an Oldsmobile, you'd go to a Buick, and the Buicks are very nice. 60s, 70s, muscle car craze, of course. The 455 Buick big block was big back then, and such like that. Also, and then the 70s and 80s, you know, economy cars, the 3.8 liter V6. Well, the 3.8 liter V6 was made up in the 7. It was started, it was discovered, well, its ancestor, I think it was a 3.5 at one point. Actually, its ancestor is actually the 3.8 straight 6, 4.2, and stuff like that. Eventually, the 3.8 came out in the mid-70s as the economy engine because General Motors needed something for gas mileage back then and such like that. So yeah, I mean, that's one of the biggest. That's one of the big things, you know, that they were known for. You know, they were known for economy, good luxury, not high end. They were known for a good comfortable ride, dyno ride. There was also the Dynaflow transmission, which was the worst transmission to waste fuel ever. Um, they also came up with the Regal Turbo T-Type, and they also came up with the GNX, the uh, the the, uh, the last of the rear-wheel drive, the tough rear-wheel drive Buicks before the fun got interrupted by the front-wheel drive brigade that would come late 80s, early 90s. I mean, Oldsmobile had the front-wheel drive since like the mid to late 70s with the Tornado, but and then after that, Buick kind of went to a grandma car, grocery getter, sleeper car. I mean, the Buick Regal Limited or Ultra. You could get the Regal Supercharged with 240 horsepower, 280 foot-pounds. You could also get the Park Avenue with the same engine. It wasn't until 2007, 2008 that they actually came up with the Buick LaCrosse, and they actually put a V8 back in the car. It was a 5.3 V8. They did do a 4.6 North Star on the Lucerne, but I don't want to talk about the North Star because the North Star was a horrible motor. We belch out its own guts. I take the 5.3 V8 every day with 300 horsepower. Give it a chip and I give it a chip and a lightly supercharger, maybe give it 400 horsepower and somehow figure out how to not melt the transmission. Buick kind of did a stupid move back in 2000 and I'm going to say 2008, 2009, and it was killed. In 2005, 2006, and that was killed. The Buick LeSabre, which was a great car. It sold many, many units. It was an awesome machine, and unfortunately, they killed it. So and now they're just doing crossovers and stuff like that. They're not doing anything really good, and yeah. I just wish they would go back to four-door sedans so they could sell more. I'd love to have owned a Buick in my time, but unfortunately, they're like, oh, people want crossovers. It's more efficient and stuff like that. But you know, I hope they go long enough to sustain themselves because I hate to see Buick die horrible deaths. Because Buick's been around in my family for a long time. I've never been in too many Cadillacs. I think I've been in one Cadillac before, but it was a long time ago. I've been in a couple Oldsmobiles because my grandpa and my grandmother used to drive in one, and they used to accompany them to certain things. Like we used to go to the Titanic exhibit, and they knew I liked that, and I used to accompany my grandpa when he needed something to watch after him while we went over the house. And towards the end of his time on Earth, they used it then. I think they sold it off to help out with the house, unfortunately. But car found a good home, and obviously some other person or some other grandpa or grandmother will use it because it's a great grandparents' car and stuff like that. But yeah, it's just a shame that Buick died a horrible. The Buick and it's a shame that Oldsmobile died a horrible death, and that Cadillac is technically the only luxury brand that has kept that mantle going. So yeah, everybody. I thought I'd bring you guys a long one because I haven't recorded in a long time, and I hope you guys can hear me over this godforsaken fan. It's hot. We do have AC on, but it's not on at the moment. So, but I wish everybody a good weekend and stuff like that. Good rest of your weekend. I will definitely come to you guys tomorrow and tell you guys what's going on, and I may tell you. I'm not gonna do another update video of what I'm gonna do. I'm still gonna keep the upload schedule I did when I told you guys I was all set and ready and stuff like that. But yeah, I'll continue tomorrow and I'll keep going on. I want to close out the month of June. I promise you guys I'm gonna close out the month of June doing vlogs or videos. Not every single day, but on the prescribed days, and I'll do the gameplay when I need to. I do not know what I'm going to place Chrono Trigger with. Just bear in mind with me, I don't know what the heck I'm going to do. But thank you guys for watching, and the views have come up immensely. We have grown since 2 months ago, or since in the last 6 months. We've grown. I think we were at 5,000 late last year, so we've grown very slow, but we're up to 23 something. We're up to 35, 3, 5, 2 something, which is great pace right now because 5,000 is, not expecting breaking records this year, but as I produce more of these, maybe you guys will watch them more. So, but yeah, I'll try to be a little bit more consistent. We'll get the views up. We'll try to aim for 5,500 by the end of the year, maybe 6,000. Heading on the way the next couple of years. I plan to be here as long as I can, so you guys just don't go away. I'm obviously going to be back. But yeah, I thought I'd start. But yeah, I started this long recording binge, or this long streak with a session over 36 minutes. So peace out, everybody. I hope you guys enjoyed this. My personal look at the luxury brands of General Motors, Cadillac, Oldsmobile, and Buick, and where they've been and where they've gone the last couple of years. So hopefully you guys enjoy your weekend. I'll definitely be here tomorrow. I'll do some gameplay tonight, maybe at 10:30. Well, it's about 19 now, I think. It's about 9:36. So I'll start gameplay at probably 10:30. So I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'll see you guys later on. Thank you for listening to another automotive talk. I think it's number 3. As usual, everybody, long live America, God bless America, long live the automotive brands in our nation. Let's keep them going. Pray for all the souls out there. Also want to pray for co-workers, grandmother who is currently not feeling very well. I want to say a prayer to her, and as she makes her journey, as she enters the final moments of her life, I want to make sure that my co-worker's grandmother, that God watches over her as she enters her final moments in life. So, and I hope you can help God to keep him on, you can keep her alive long enough so my co-worker can go see her, please, before she goes and passes on. I would love that immensely. Also pray for my friends, let them all stay strong, maybe in April, let them all overcome their obstacles, and just let them live in all, and let them try to all live in peace. Alright, everybody, good night, and I'll see you guys in the next one tomorrow. I'm going to try to record one after I go get coffee, or I may make some coffee that I have left over, and I may drink it out on the porch, and I may just have a morning chat radio show, I don't know if I'm going to go live, but actually I can't go live, but I can still record my screen. But yeah, guys, I'm going to see you guys later, and I hope you guys enjoyed this for another automotive talk. I'm your humble host, Mike Kimmo, here for another one of these. Good night, everybody, and from the radio show to everybody subscribe and not subscribe, everybody who's just plowing on in. You guys have a good weekend, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for another one of these. Well, not for a radio talk, but just for a regular radio show. So.